Hello everyone, this is part 44 of What If Naruto Had Two Bloodlines, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. After a few days of spending time with Hinata's relatives, others they had met in the village, and paying their respects, it was time for the group to depart. Nitsuki, it was so nice seeing you again, my precious granddaughters. I wish you could stay longer. Hanabi, us too. Nitsuki, well, I guess I shouldn't make such a big deal about it, we'll see each other again next year. Then you can tell me all about what you've done in the time you were away. Hinata plush Hanabi, right. Hinata, grandmother, I'll keep on training. I'll grow stronger and I won't let you down. Nitsuki, smiles warmly, I'm sure you won't, I'm sure you'll do your best. I'd love you even if you didn't, but promise me something, work on, you know what, while you can. Hinata, what do you mean? Nitsuki, you know, leans in with her pinky out, what we talked about, winks. Hinata, blushing furiously, grandmother. Naruto was still being led deeper into the forest by Ryubi. Naruto, shouldn't we wait for the others? Ryubi, there's no time, we have to get out of here before we're interrupted again, stops and pauses, it figures someone would find us all the way out here, grumbling to herself. She and Naruto turned to their left and looked up the hill. There stood Ryubi, you. Naruto, there you are, where have you been? Hinata. Ryubi, so I guess that we can never be alone without someone else butting in. Naruto, looks like both of our friends came to check up on us. From the shadows of the bushes came another figure. Naruto could tell that it was someone that could use chakra but couldn't tell who. My name is Connor and I'm a friend of Ryubi, it's nice to finally meet you. Naruto, what do you want? Connor, my, so informal, but I guess I'll tell you what I'm here for, what I want, is you. Naruto, what? Ryubi, I'm sorry Naruto, forgive me. She raised her hand behind Naruto's head and prepared to strike. Hinata, Naruto, look out. Naruto jumped away before Ryubi could make a swing. Naruto, Ryubi, what are you doing? Ryubi, I'm sorry Naruto, but you have to come with us. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you, begins to morph. An explosion was heard and many of the others could see dark smoke rising. Explosions could be heard all around him, but Naruto couldn't let that distract him. In order to help his friends he would need to find a way to get by his opponent. Naruto, Uzumaki's barrage. Naruto connected with a spinning axe kick that sent Connor crashing into the ground. Thinking that it was over, the Narutos turned to leave, only to have chills go up and down their spines. They turned to see that the ground was beginning to freeze over as white mist crept towards them. Connor, I know that was supposed to take you alive, but right now, I can't help but want to KO you. Ryubi could feel that Connor had increased his chakra output. She could tell that there was trouble. Ryubi growls, I don't have time for this. Naruto is in danger, I have to help him. Hinata, Naruto's in trouble. Ryubi, looks like it's your lucky day, I won't finish you now, but if we ever cross paths again, you're as good as S. She flew away and Hinata quickly gave chase in hopes of getting to Naruto before it was too late. She followed Ryubi until she noticed something happening up ahead. Suzume, Ryubi, I'm going on ahead, don't let anyone pass. The Hyugas watched as the dragon girl flew by. They were curious about what was beyond the area that she was in such a hurry to get to. Hinata, father, sister, Neji, Hiashi, Hinata, are you hurt? Hinata, no, I'm fine but I have to go after her, Naruto is in trouble. Neji, we'd like to be of some assistance but we're having difficulty defeating these opponents. Hiashi, they're able to attack from a distance and make sure not to get too close. Hinata, if they're going to make this a ranged fight, then I guess I'm the one best suited to be their opponent. Hiashi, Hinata, ruffling a few feathers. Everyone was faced with adversity but they knew that they would have to get through it. With their pride and the comrades' lives on the line, they fight. Are you sure about this, milady? One of the Hyuga bodyguards asked. You shouldn't do this on your own, please, allow us to handle this, the other spoke up. Hyashi, quiet you two, if she believes that she can do this on her own, then we will honor her request, but if you need help we're right here. Hinata, thank you father. Neji, are you sure you don't want any help? It's 2 against 1. Hinata shakes her head, I feel that I can do this, I have to. Neji, very well. Hanabi, be careful sister. Hinata nods and steps forward. Tsubame, what's this? Don't tell me you intend to take us on by yourself, how arrogant can you be? From her back Hinata removed her bow and turned to one of the guards for her arrows. Suzume, or, isn't that cute? She has her little bow and arrow and is ready to go, this should be good, sarcastic tone. Ignoring the 2 young women, Hinata checked her bow to make sure it was in proper condition. When everything checked out, she turned her attention to the 2 women in the sky. Hinata, I would like to avoid harming you, so I'll ask you, will you please give up and let us pass? Tsubame, yeah right, princess, as if we'd do something like that. Suzume, I can understand why you want us to let you pass, you're gonorrhea and also you're probably worried for your life, too bad for you that we won't let you go. Hinata, I was afraid you'd say something like that. She grabbed an arrow and prepared to fire it. Suzume, like you could even hit, narrowly avoiding an arrow to the head. Hinata, a warning shot, I would really rather avoid any unnecessary fights, I just want to get by and help my friend. Suzume, why you, be drawing the swords at her waist. Tsubame, you seem kind of upset, Suzume, should I? Suzume, just stay out of this. I'll take care of this little bee myself. Tsubame, sigh, fine, just don't go overboard, taking a seat on a branch. Suzume, don't worry, I'll make this quick. As Hinata readied another arrow, Suzume grabbed a kunai and tossed it. Hinata sidestepped it and shot off an arrow. Suzume easily avoided any damage by knocking it away with a sword. Suzume, hey, is that the best you got? A smirk on her face. Hinata adjusted her quiver, container for arrows, to her hip so that she could shoot more arrows in quicker succession. She shot one arrow after the other with an increasing rate of speed. It was easy enough for Suzume to dodge at first, but soon it grew more difficult. The more arrows that flew her way in such a limited window started to give her problems as she had to maneuver to keep her body and her wings from being LD. In order to escape this onslaught, Suzume dove to a lower level and glided towards Hinata, swords ready to carve. Hinata made some hand seals before shooting off another arrow. Suzume easily evaded this one and made a beeline for Hinata. She swung her swords only to have them stopped. In front of Suzume was a circle of chakra that blocked her way to her target. Suddenly, a gap in the circle opened and Hinata took her shot. Suzume quickly took to the air but couldn't avoid getting an arrow in the leg. Suzume, ow, damn it, you little bee, you'll pay for that. Pulling out the arrow. With a look of determination, Hinata prepared to fire another wave of arrows at her airborne foe. Suzume readied herself as Hinata let them fly. Once again she was having a tough time avoiding being hit to the point that she was pinned to a tree. With an arrow in both wings and a few pinning her clothes as well, Hinata figured that she would have an extremely tough time evading the next attack. She pulled back and released an arrow with great force. As the arrow flew at Suzume's head, it was knocked away at the last second. Using her whip, Tsubame saved her partner. Suzume, why you saved me? Tsubame, of course I did, idiot, I had to, how else would I explain your death to Connell? Suzume, what? Who asked for your help anyway? She attempted to wriggle herself free but only hurt her wings the more she tried. Tsubame, watching, you need help, don't you? Suzume, yes, giving in. Tsubame plucked the arrows from Suzume's wings and helped her to a branch. Tsubame, leave it to me for now, once you've recovered feel free to join in, if I'm not finished by then. Suzume, whatever, chewed. Tsubame, taking her position so then, let's see what you got little girl. Once again Hinata released a slew of arrows into the air. Tsubame quickly dropped from the air to ground level. Tsubame, windy whip. Cracking her whip. As she did, a sliver of wind made its way at Hinata. She quickly threw up her hand and blocked it with her chakra shield, Halo. She was relieved that she did it in time, especially since the ground in front of her and a few branches on the trees behind her were SD up. She was surprised to see the effects of Subame's attack, and the dangers it spelled for her. Subame, so, what do you think? My whip is made of chakra-absorbing materials that allow the user to focus their chakra in the form of elemental attacks. As you can see, I have an affinity for wind which can be very sly. Hinata opened her halo shield and shot an arrow. Subame simply cracked her whip and it split the arrow down the middle. Refusing to let this stop her, Hinata attacked again only to get the same result. Subame, ha ha ha, that won't work, why don't you try something else? Maybe it'll work out better for you. Suzume, alright, let's finish this. My wings are better and I really want to K this girl. Subame, fine, but we do it together. Hinata, there must be something I can do, some way I can defeat them. If I could just get that whip away from her, maybe I could have a chance of winning. With 2 instead of 1 it's going to be a lot more difficult, but I have to do it. Hinata grabbed another arrow and drew back. Subame, PFT. That again. Don't you ever learn. Hinata quickly shifted her aim towards the other girl and fired a few rounds. Suzume, CRAAAP. Preparing for the worst. Subame, S. Suzume. In order to save her partner, Subame used her whip to cut the arrows off. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her right hand. It was a well-placed arrow and it had LD her whip hand, causing her to drop it. As it fell, Hinata took this chance to fire another arrow, this time aimed at Subame's heart. Subame, S. Reaching for something on her back. In a gust of wind, Hinata's arrow was stopped. This time, the weapon responsible was a giant feather in Subame's left hand. Hinata was surprised that her attempt was dismissed again and the others were disappointed that nothing seemed to work. Subame, you little bee. I was going easy on you, but if that's the way you want to play. Pulling out the arrow in her hand, Suzume. Suzume, Roger. Suzume quickly dropped from the sky and headed for Hinata. Hinata responded by shooting an arrow, but it was cut down by Subame's windy whip. The attack from that also continued on, forcing Hinata to switch to the defensive. She blocked the attack but noticed that Subame launched a second one just low enough to skim under her shield. She quickly slammed it into the ground to keep the attack from slicing her legs. From there Suzume flew by and slashed Hinata across the back. "Milady, let us assist you, milady," the second guard yelled. "Hyashi, enough. Those words won't reach her, this is now her fight, the best we can do is watch and help only if we are truly needed," the assistants nodding in compliance. In pain, Hinata dropped to her knees, but she wasn't about to give up so easily. "Hinata, I can do this, I have to do this, I have to help, Naruto. Hanabi, I've never seen sister so determined." She got up and shot an arrow at the retreating Suzume. Subame, feather dance, fanning her giant feather. A whirlwind appeared behind Suzume, catching the arrow and sending it back to its rightful owner. Hinata threw up her defense and blocked it, but was ensnared by Subame and her whip. Using her whip, she wrapped it around one of Hinata's exposed legs and slung her into the air. As she fell to earth, Suzume and Subame figured that this would be the perfect opportunity to end this. Suzume, time to finish this. Now, S. Preparing to S up Hinata. As she was about to end it, Suzume realized that something was wrong, mainly because she flew right under Hinata instead of through her. Suzume, looking back at a floating Hinata. Subame, she's flying, where did she get wings? Wings of chakra were protruding from Hinata's back as she fluttered in place. The two women took in the sight of a winged Hinata with 4 halos of chakra around her wrists and ankles, fluttering. Still baffled by how this happened, she didn't see the punch that crashed into her face. Subame, Suzume, you idiot, you let your guard down right in front of the enemy. Fanning her feather. The wind created from the feather slowed and saved Suzume as she crashed into a tree. She landed on a branch and struggled to pull herself together. By the time she recovered, she could see that her partner could also use a hand. Using her chakra rings as momentary shields, Hinata blocked the wind attacks from Subame's whip and backed her into a tree. Desperate, Subame attempted to use her feather but didn't have enough time or room to use it. Hinata threw a punch and Suzume threw a kunai in an attempt to save her partner. The kunai was deflected by Hinata's wings, but the slight distraction gave Subame time to avoid the pain-crushing blow. Hinata's fist said into the tree mere inches from Subame's head. She quickly got away and noticed the damage done to the tree. It had cracked at the point of impact and was continuing to a little more. Subame was horrified at the sight and the thought of how that could have been her. She then noticed that Suzume was foolishly charging in at Hinata, who was shaking her hand. Subame, no. Suzume, that isn't a good idea. Suzume began swinging wildly with her swords, trying to cut Hinata as many times as she could. Hinata was backed into a tree and Suzume went in for the K. She lunged at Hinata with her swords, but they were deflected by the rings around her wrists. With her opponent so close, Hinata grabbed her wrists to avoid escape. Suzume flapped her wings in hopes of prying herself free, but it wouldn't work. Subame, Suzu, get out of there now. Preparing her weapons. Suzume continued to jerk and wriggle but still couldn't break free of Hinata's grasp. Suzume, still struggling, what the hell is this? Hinata, this is a technique from my mother's clan. It increases the user's taijutsu abilities including strength and speed. With a look of determination in her eyes, Hinata made her move. One swift kick to the side caused Suzume to crumple at the sound of her ribs cracking. Hinata released her grip and using the tree behind her to move behind her opponent and kicked her into the tree. Suzume was embedded into the tree and fell from it, leaving an imprint. As she plummeted to the ground, Subame tried to quickly come to her rescue only to be cut off by Hinata. Subame, you little. Cracking her whip. Hinata flew up a little higher, avoiding being hit by the whip and its attack. She quickly struck back with a punch that sent her hurtling towards the ground. The spectators were very impressed but were soon disappointed as Subame managed to correct and save herself from crashing. Subame, you, wipes the blood from her mouth, biiiitch. Suzume. Wake your ass up and help me destroy this insulent little whore. Suzume began to stir as she groaned in pain. She slowly went from laying on her back on the ground to a sitting position and slowly to standing, trying to avoid feeling as much discomfort as possible. Subame, Suzume. Hurry up and get your lazy ass up. Suzume, I can't move any faster than this, I'm in a lot of pain here. Flinches from the pain. Subame, like I give a damn. We're doing that, so come on. Suzume, we're doing that. Now. Why the hell didn't we do it when I could have actually done it flawlessly? Flinches in pain. Subame, this is no time to worry about what could have been done then and what's being done now. Let's just do this and finish this brat off. After you help me, I'll let you rest while I finish the others. Suzume, fine, struggling to lift her arm into position. Hinata watched as the two quickly cycled through seals, one faster than the other for obvious reasons. Once finished, they set themselves as if they were about to start a race. Subame, ready. Suzume, yeah. Subame, go. The two took a running start and flew into the air. There, they began to circle Hinata, who prepared herself. Subame plus Suzume, feather play. The two began to fly faster as they flew at Hinata. She managed to avoid their first flyby by shifting her position, turning when they flew by. The two then made another come around but at a faster speed. Once again Hinata avoided taking a hit but the two continued, picking up the pace with each pass by. Before she knew it, the two were flying too fast for her to keep up. She was hit once, then again, and over until she dropped from the sky. She managed to correct herself by was attacked again. In order to avoid taking too much damage, she tried to fly away but the two women gave chase. Subame, what's this? Running away, catching up to Hinata. Suzume, hey, you won't get very far flying so slow, winces in pain. Hinata tried to evade them for as long as she could, but she wasn't quick enough. Once again the two women forced her from the air and she crashed to the ground. Still not ready to back down, Hinata watched as the two women flew about with great speed and agility. Subame, hey, look at you down there, it's exactly where you belong. Suzume, yeah, these skies belong to real flyers. Hinata, you're right. Subame, what was that? Hinata, I said you're right, I haven't trained enough in flying so I don't have a chance of competing with you up there, but that doesn't mean that I can't defeat you. Tipping the visor on her head over her eyes. Suzume, what's that thing? Hinata, HALO for short, with this I think I can win. Suzume, you expect us to believe that some stupid contraption is gonna help you beat us, that's stupid. Hinata, we'll see, grabbing her bow and an arrow. Tsubame, TCH. The bow and arrows again, grabbing her weapons. Suzume, let's finish this brat off. Tsubame, drawing her swords, sparrows dance. Hinata took aim and the two women quickly moved to avoid being still targets. Can Lady Hinata really defeat them with that thing? I know it increases her accuracy, but can it be of any use against opponents that are moving so fast? The first guard questioned. Hanabi, she'll do it. Hiashi, though she doesn't have the strengths of the Hyuga, that child has discovered her own. Because of her inability to use the Byakugan, she got the idea to create a device that could be used for the very same purpose with a little help from her mother and grandparents. She faced failure after failure, but she finally accomplished what she set out to do. I was amazed at what she was capable of, and to this day she continues to tinker with that machine and advance it more and more. Looking through her visor, Hinata ready to fire at her first target. She released the arrow and it soared through the air. Tsubame, that girl, she completely wasted an arrow. It looks like that machine does nothing but impair her vision. Stops as she notices the arrow's path. Wait a minute. Did she shoot where she anticipated Suzu to head? Look out, Suzu. She turned hearing the sound of her partner's voice and noticed the arrow flying at her. Tsubame, there's no way she can hit her at these speeds, and with Suzu using Sparrow's Dance, she's even harder to hit. Suzu maneuvered to dodge the arrow with a graceful technique. She watched as the arrow streaked by her head, right in front of her eyes. Suzume, turning to Hinata, you. Two more arrows flew at her and pinned each of her wings to a tree. Suzume, it hurts, damn it, not again. Tsubame, Suzu. Hinata took aim again and fired another arrow at her pinned opponent. Tsubame quickly cracked her whip, sending a sharp blade of wind to stop it and succeeded. She then had the unpleasant delight of having an arrow shot at her. She narrowly dodged it and noticed that Hinata was about to fire another at her. She cracked her whip and suddenly noticed that something was different about this arrow. Her wind attack SD through the arrow as usual, but when it did, it cut a small piece of rope that tied a kunai to it. With the rope severed, the kunai spun through the air and lodged itself in Tsubame's left wing. Preoccupied with the pain, she didn't notice the next arrow that was on its way that LD her hand, forcing her to drop her whip. Tsubame, Damn it. Hinata fired another arrow but Tsubame blew it away using her giant feather. Not faltering, Hinata grabbed another arrow and reared back, taking her time. Seeing this, Tsubame fanned her feather around and created a wall of wind between her and Hinata. Still taking her time, Hinata pulled back a little more and released the arrow. The arrow flew from Hinata's bow and forced its way through Tsubame's wall of wind. Tsubame was shocked and horrified as the arrow made its way through and cleanly sped through her right wing and into the tree behind. With a hole in her wing, Tsubame fell from the sky. She plummeted and crashed to the ground with a sickening thud. Hinata, I didn't use enough force to compensate for the increased wind and my arrow veered off course. Unable to feel anything but excruciating pain from the waist down, she turned her attention to Hinata to curse her name. As she did, she saw that Hinata had seed back and was ready to put an arrow through her head this time. Hinata let the arrow fly and as it did, Tsubame knew that she was in grave trouble. Her legs were broken, her wings were useless, and she couldn't reach her weapons. She had no way of avoiding it this time. Suzume, Tsubame. Hanabi plush, G1 plush, G2, she's got her. The arrow streaked through the air, but it was knocked off course by another arrow. Even though its path was obstructed, the arrow still hit its target. Tsubame, Damn, that hurt. Grasping the arrow through her body. The arrow had gone through inches below her left B, all the way with the exception of its tail end. Hinata looked at the angle of her arrow and traced the stray's possible point of origin. She looked up and noticed that there was another woman flying with a small bow in her hand. Suzume, Yumi. Trying to wriggle herself free. Neji. Another one. X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.